Hello, everybody. I am Sun Psychic Jean, and look who I have with me today, Teri from Holding Your Space. Hi, Teri.
Hey, Jean, how are you this morning? Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I am in the
Uh-oh,
stars, and
I got
I
it.
am. You have a double going on. You have a.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry
Just
about
let me
that,
know when you're
people.
ready.
I'm ready.
As I'm okay. So I see that my background is we're in the stars, and I am being reminded about all of those planets that are lined up and going to be. It's today is the supercharged energy portal, and let me go ahead and pop that up just so just to begin while everybody is filing in, if you don't mind. So I just saw this little graphic here, and I thought it was interesting that they concisely illustrated and did a brief summary of it. So it's the supercharged energy portal, and it is today, February 28th, 2025, in case you're watching this later. And it's an extremely rare 7-planet parade. And the next opportunity to witness this won't come until 2040. And this is just the beginning. I know that a couple of years ago, we all started becoming more interested in astrology and just where the planets are moving. And this is not at all what we're talking about today, but I know that today is a really very special day. And I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention as you're coming in. And it says on February 28th, the night sky will host a rare 7-planet alignment featuring Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, Mercury, and Saturn. And at its peak, Mercury will join the lineup, briefly appearing above the horizon after sunset. It's just absolutely amazing. And we're all part of this. You are part of this. I am part of this. The whole world is part of this. The planet Earth is part of this. Like we are all part of the universe. It's one of these things that it's important to sort of take ourselves and understand how broad and how wide our awareness is possibly to be. And it's really just very energizing is what I want to say. And it takes you a little bit outside of your comfort zone. It takes you outside of your little everyday surroundings and opens up your awareness and opens up the possibilities and takes you out of some of the day-to-day routine and allows you to expand and to look at what's possible out there. It just really is something that it's important and it's exciting and it's unique, and you can tell, you can feel that there's a change in the times. You can feel that there's a change in the awareness, in the psychic awareness, in the abilities, in the communication with our loved ones, with our spirit guides and angels. Right, Teri?
Yeah, definitely. We just did a meditation this morning on the senses and, going into 5 senses, 5 different ways of feeling things and examining things. But then you go into the subtle senses too, which is what this really brings up when you were talking about this, is our clairs, but also remembering, knowing. There's so much of it that's coming to everybody, and everybody's having dreams. Everybody's really awakening right now. They're feeling energy, and it's different. Like for years, people have been having the sound in their ears, the frequencies, and now I feel like our entire bodies are, as well as our auric fields in our light bodies, are absorbing all this energy, and it's made such a difference. This is also coinciding with Tibetan New Year, Loshar, which is a very sacred time of year for rebirth and awakening and healing. So, and that starts today on February 28th and goes until, I think it's March 3rd. It might be the 2nd, but you take 2 days on either side of everything, right? So anyway, to feel that energy and acclimate to it. But it's a benevolent time of year for sure, very auspicious. So, yeah.
And I think it lends us to an opportunity to grow, to expand, to experience what's possible. And I see Barbara Berkman is here. Hi, Barbara Berkman. And then there's just Barbara here. So
Yeah.
I see you both. So I'll have to make sure that I say hi. Akila B is here. Hi,
Hi,
Akila. Dragonfly is here. And Annie Bear and Bright Shiny Ray, White Dragon, and Kelly. Hi, Kelly Bach. Kelly Bach. And Anne Greenwich. Hi, Anne. And Rossi. So many people are here. So nice to see you. Indigo Child is here. Oh, very nice.
Hi.
And Deb three shifting veils. And Deb three shifting veils. I wonder if it sounds like she has this awareness, but she knows that there's a shifting veil. And it really speaks volumes to me. And Julie Hamill is here. Lois Hager, Rooted Willow. Sherry Moe. Hi, Sherry. Nice to see you. Michelle Krantz and Daniel Martin. Everybody, thank you all for coming and for being here with us. And Teri and I just wanted to talk a little bit about being present, being here in our human incarnation. I had somebody ask me, that they have dreams and memories and past lives and that they know that they're a star seed and what does this all mean? And it is important and it is exciting to know that we're a multidimensional being, but at the same time, it is really just as exciting and important to be our human being, our human essence. And it is all of these multidimensional energies that is needed here on earth, and it's needed to be played out and to be grounded here on earth. And I hope I didn't lose everybody, but I felt like that was really important. Like everybody's like, oh, what about this and what about this and my past life and I was a starseed. And yes, all of that is an amazing awareness. And it's an aspect, but it's really also very important for us to be here now.
Yeah, it is really important. There's kind of a thing going on right now with the Akashic records, kind of a thing. I mean, there always has been, right? But and it is really important because it's another thing that we're remembering. But being present with everything that's going on for you right now, it's constantly that, isn't it? It's constantly that presence. And then as we get into that presence, actually, we kind of see the quantum field and the different dimensions, which are other lifetimes that we're probably experiencing right now, right here. Yeah, we're here to experience Earth, right, Teresa? Yeah. And to be walking through Earth right now and to be really aware of your feelings. And for me, it all comes into that heart-centered space and walking in your light with awareness, witnessing awareness. So Debbie says, your guides gave you a handle. That's a take on my past dancing on what's going on now. I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Priestess energy, right, Debbie? So I was a dancer in Mexico as a priestess. So an Aztec priestess years ago. That was the first past life thing that I'd had done. And I think I was 14 or 15. And yeah, Teresa, we're here experiencing on Earth. So being really watching things happen, but it doesn't mean we have to be of them and attached to them. So witnessing what's going on the planet right now, but not, I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but not being of it, that you're so attached to it. Like somebody said a while back about caring and compassion and how they're kind of a little bit different, because sometimes when we're caring, we get attached to the outcome of things. But processing any emotions that come up and then witnessing them. Like don't be afraid to be afraid. Don't be afraid to be mad. Don't be afraid to be happy. and processing our emotions, not stuffing them, because that's another thing of that passive positivity of which is kind of going away with the 3D, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all changing. That's all changing. And change is not easy. And we all need to be really, really gentle and kind to ourselves. But what the other point I wanted to make here, she said, we're here to experience Earth, but it's not only about our own experience, it's about our energy and what we can bring to this Earth in this incarnation to help all of humanity and to help Gaia as well. And it's not only our perspective, it is a collective of humanity that we're here to experience it together and to, uh, rise or ascend or learn and expand together. Hi, Miss Linda Kennedy. Want to do a little shout out for you.
Hey,
Nice to
Linda.
see you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Garnet's here too. I don't know if we said hi to Garnet yet.
Aw,
He's from
did Garnet
England.
come?
Yeah,
I
he's
missed
here.
him.
So,
I'm sorry, you
um,
guys. It jumps. Go
no,
ahead.
it's international now. It's official, not just North American. But anyway, yeah, looking at everything and watching it as it comes in, and it's a dance, man. And we talk about dancing in between the 3D and 5D. And we've been doing that for a long time. I think sometimes we look at things and we think, "Oh, will it pass me by?" And it won't, right? The day after the election, I woke up and I thought, "Did everybody else move to 5D and I'm the only one here with this president?" But, but it's kinda like just watching what's coming in and not being tied to the outcome, but also, kind of being where you are and look around you, because people that you know might start kind of falling away, or relationships, and also relationships might come back that kind of you might have something to learn from them before you move on, because a lot of this stuff we're not going to take with us. We won't take karma into 5D. It's going to be completely different the way it looks. So you'll have opportunities that arise, growth opportunities to let go of something, finally.
So you've hosted Sal Raz before, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And along those lines, I think that Sherry Trancing Spirit, she and I were having a chat about experiencing 5D. And have you ever had an experience where you thought you've experienced 5D?
Oh yeah. All the time. Meditation's a big one. When you're meditating, or sometimes you're going to be walking around a store and you're going to look around you, or you might be, out and about and you see a houseless person and you look at them and you know that they're angelic and they look at you and they smile. And I think this has been going on all my life and probably all your lives too, where particularly like if you're someplace with live music, if you're at a Renaissance festival, there's interesting spaces where these people come up, or these entities, but you're going to look at them and you acknowledge them and they acknowledge you. They know that you know. And you're kind of just that 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like you can see them, but other people can't. And you just don't understand why. But now we're starting to figure it out. Nancy Jean was talking about the other day. We had a show, and she was talking about the 144,000,
Mm.
100,000, pardon me. And that's back from, early biblical readings, also the Quran. I mean, and many, many things. It's a sacred number. So many, many tribes. And so all of them are present here, all of these entities, and raising the vibration. And it's like everybody here has raised the vibration so much. Garnet says, can't start a fire without a spark, even if we're dancing in the dark. I love that, right? So yeah, we're all kind of, I feel like, walking in between the light and the darkness. And that's the space of yin and yang and the space of the gap, which the gap is that space of universal energy for me. What about you, Jean?
Well, I think I had an experience and I couldn't really define it until it dawned on me after the fact that I must have experienced what 5D was like. And it was a average Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, nothing special, and I live in a pretty busy area in the DC area. And I went to a strip mall where they have like you know, restaurants and fast food and a nail place, a hair place, and a grocery store and a donut store. They have the whole bit. So we were going to the grocery store. And my husband was with me and we pulled in and we got out of the car. And I remember like hearing the car door shut, like boom, that was. And then after I heard the car door shut, everything was silent. Everything was still. I didn't see a bird in the sky. I didn't hear a truck behind me. There was no people, no carts being pushed, no birds flying. It was all like everything just stopped. And it was like for a good 30, 40 seconds. I mean, I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, and then it was, could I have been in a place where there was no movement for 30 or 40 seconds? I highly doubt it. I think I was in between sort of realms or realities, or that sometimes, when they say, well, this is going way out, you guys, if you have a presence or somebody, coming in close, then you can have that kind of a stillness or everything stopping when you're having like a visitation or something. So I feel to me it was more of like a dimensional experience, but I think we are sort of moving in and out of these dimensions. And the higher we can keep our frequency and vibration by being in the present moment and working on removing that tendency to worry and to sort of catastrophize or to not trust the universe, or it's these things are heavier, denser. I think I showed this on our last one. Heavier, denser frequencies. And then if we try and stay in the higher frequencies, the higher sort of perspective, the higher emotions, the higher realms, it really does help to propel us and to allow us to deal with these trying times. And I see Patricia, she says, is there a way to learn or know what we're here to do? And we're here to experience. We're here to be. We're here to experience life as a human on earth, as it is. And also to ascend and to bring the energies. They often call it bringing heaven on earth, but it's like bringing the evolution to 5D so that we're more in the heaven type of, not the higher vibrational realms. This is what we're here to do, is to ascend and to bring humanity. And Gaia is going to be ascending with or without us, but we're here to experience the ascension here in this incarnation. How about you, Teri?
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to say a shout out to the Crone Zones here. So,
Oh,
hey, ladies, how are you? So Patricia, why am I here? That is like that's what the yogi says. Why am I here? What am I doing? Who am I? What am I? But sometimes it's just as simple as spreading your light and being, just being in that awareness and that in between, and lighting up your corner of the world. But it is a really important thing. And kind of that you're yearning for it and looking for it, Patricia, means that you're probably already there. When we each raise the vibration anywhere that we are, there's that interconnectedness that happens. And interconnectedness is what 5D is. So we're all interconnected now. And that's a beautiful thing that's happened with YouTube, isn't it? That for me, it's like a magic place because we can come here and we can learn from so many teachers. It's a wealth of information, and you definitely want to pick and choose like what works for you, because each one of us is our own authentic self, and that piece of the puzzle, that interactive piece of the puzzle, that each one of us is completely different, and where we connect and our light connects, it makes this beautiful thing. Yeah, Jill, being our authentic self is so important, isn't it? And the other thing that I recently had, I was doing a meditation, a yoga nidra, that this beautiful woman at my yoga studio was doing the other day, young woman. And I'm like, where did you get that? That was beautiful. Anyway, so, and Diva's here. I was listening to Diva this morning on the Diva Mitten. Anyway, so when we're at that in between state, and they were kind of showing me like a shifting of everything happening. And then they were saying the easiest way to find it, joy. That's all we had to find, was like, what makes you happy? And if you see something that doesn't make you happy, or happiness is more of an emotion, but joy is a state of being. So if we are constantly following joy and love, peace, then you're doing exactly what you need to do here. So, yeah.
Wow. So I just wanted to bring out a couple of comments here. Vicky Howell says that it happened to her when she heard her guardian angel yell, "Stop." And when they saved her life, a sheet of ice was sliding off a 2-story building, and I had to backtrack to keep from it hitting her. And then she says, 2 branches fell off the trees next to the building, but everything got still, and she just stood there. And it is like this. You're like in a twilight zone, and it is like a shock, and it is like everything slows down. But this is like you're in that now moment when you had that feeling, when you said, "I got still and just stood there." That was you being ever present, more present than you ever were before. And it's always because our mind is always working ahead of us, or remembering behind us, or just thinking. But you were so, shooken up in that very moment that you had a very surreal experience with being present, and how slow time is when we're just present in that moment. And that is, I think it also is a different dimension experience as well. But I'm sure a lot of us have that type of, or has maybe had something like this happen to us, where we felt that stillness or that shock after. And that's us experiencing the present moment, is how I interpret it. How about you, Teri?
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I mean, I'm sorry that happened, Vicky, but I'm so happy that your guides were there and you were there, your higher self, and kind of watched it all happen. Because, again, witnessing awareness. I mean, I say it a million times a day, I feel like sometimes, but you watched and you saw, and how many of us have had things like that, where maybe something, we couldn't get our seat buckle on right. And then, you're going down the street, and 2 blocks ahead of you, you see a huge accident or something. All sorts of different things that make you stop and watch. But it's amazing that happened. And when you were reading it, Jean, I could just kind of feel it, Vicky, and feel the stillness in that. So just because I have it here, it's not like I read it every day, but I do keep this on my desk quite a bit. Can you read it? It's Stillness Speaks by Eckhart. And
Mm-hmm.
and Eckhart's kind of one of those guys, like Deepak and Sadhguru and a bunch of them. And just, he's been saying the same thing for years. I think this book is probably 30 years old.
Oh,
But I think so. Anyway, but it's a little tiny one, and it's meant to be picked up and looked at and put down. Like, you don't have to read the whole thing cover to cover. Just pick it up and look at it every once in a while. But Eckhart has a really good way of bringing me in, for me, to stillness. Or if I need to go to sleep, he could also do that. So I listen to his audio. And while it's intriguing, it also brings me to that stillness that I can find sleep.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cat Lady's had that experience. And she said that something, for some reason, she was held up at the gas station. And if she hadn't been, she would have been in a horrible wreck. This is all just another example of our being aware of what's going on. And Sonia had one at the Walmart. And Priscilla had one as a car accident. Barbara had one with her seatbelt, and then she was in an accident. I mean, this is what we're all talking about. And I love that you said that we need to, or that it's a little bit easier for us to do when we're in joy. And I just wanted to bring this up another time. We brought this up the last time, but look how high joy is. Look how high of a I'm just going to zoom in here. Of an energetic load, that joy is actually higher than love. And this is the vibration, the frequency, and what we need to the easiest way to get from point A to point B, or to get through fear, or to get through a difficult situation, or to feel this joy. Not just think, okay, I'm going to feel joy, but actually find something that is joyful and be it. And you're like, Jean, I can't go skipping outside when I haven't found a job yet. I'm supposed to sit home and pout. I'm supposed to pout until I get what I want. No, live life. Have joy. And if people are suffering around the world, I should be suffering too, because I am in solidarity with them. But that's nice and wonderful when you're saying your prayers. But for the rest of the 23 and a half hours of the day, live your life so that we all don't, so that we can lift the frequency and vibration of humanity. And this joy is where we want to be. And I'm not saying don't ever have anger or fear or, any of these, or guilt or grief. I'm just saying, don't dip in it and dip out of it, and try and stay in joy as much as possible. One person that I know is an amazing example of this is Mark the Spirit Whisperer.
Oh my gosh, right? I love him.
He's so much joy. And he says Pan teaches him to have joy, to dance, to sing, to, live life, wear what you want, have the colors on that you want, be joyful, because this is where the magic happens. It doesn't happen when you're waiting and holding and worrying and fearful. And I understand it is scary. I understand it. I understand we all feel it. We just don't want you to live there. Feel it. Let it go past, and just don't live there. So I wanted to honor the name of the show with it being in the present moment of joy as much as we possibly can. Find anything to be joyful. Find anything to bring up your energy and frequency and vibration. I was looking up for, my mother is quite, aging, and she finds it difficult to find things on TV that she can tolerate. She's sensitive in her older in her mature age, I guess. And so I was looking up the top feel good movies with a happy ending, or with a encouraging ending, and they're all out there. And I think that a lot of people are looking this up right now, because I saw a lot of lists of like 25 and 50 top, and it was all through all genres, through all ages. It wasn't just classic movie. It was all different types of movies. And I was really surprised. And I thought, oh, I never watched that. I'll have to go back and watch that. So even if it's movies, whatever it is that you can find to lift your spirit, to have the joy, to not live in this. And believe me, I understand. You can write down, if you're fearful, you can write down how you feel. You can write down your wishes and your dreams that you wish for it to be a different way, and then move into your joy, because this is where the magic happens. How about you, Teri?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, and recognizing when you are in that state of fear, you're in the state of guilt or pity. I had a pity party for one a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I hear you. I see you. I welcome you, and we're gonna have a little party. And I got out my pistachio ice cream and my ginger snaps, because I thought I'm going to entertain it. And then
Interesting combination.
Oh, it's the best in the world, you guys. It is interesting. My daughter and I found it out late one night. But it's kind of like, I mean, when you welcome an emotion like grief or something and say, hey, I see you, you're, let me take care of you. Let me nurture you. Let me give you something special. It passes so much faster than if we are scared of processing it because we're like, I don't want to feel that anymore because I know that that's not living in joy. Instead, you look at it and you say, hey, come here. What do you have to say? And that changes your brain completely because you go to curiosity, and curiosity uses a different part of your brain than fear, or grief, or anxiety, and it changes things. So also breath work is huge. So pranayama. So if you're having a pity party for one today, awesomeness, right? So go get your ice cream or whatever you have. Maybe you've got a special movie for pity party of one, but allow it. Like the minute we watch it come in and let it flow through and live in that flow, then we're not stagnant with it, because it's real easy to be stagnant. There's fight or flight, and then there's also something called freeze. And a lot of times, if you're an empath, you're really good at being in freeze because you know how to do things, you know how to get things done. You don't know how you do it, but you do it, and you can process or not process grief or fear or anxiety, living in that part of freeze and a certain piece of you. Like it might be something from childhood, it might be something from last week at the grocery store or at work. It can be any different thing that you kind of frozen because you didn't want to process. And sometimes that's a gift, like when we're a kid and somebody's angry with us, then we shut down and we freeze that little girl right there, or that little boy, or that little them. And we're like, okay, I'm going to freeze you in time. I'm not gonna go into that. But when you call all those little pieces of you home again and give them a little party, it's a big awakening. Did that make any sense? I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
about how it's important to flow through the emotions. And,
yeah.
Jill Sinanan, when she said, being your authentic self, this is so very powerful, multi-dimensional, but multi-level type of awareness to be our authentic self. When we're saying be our authentic self, we're not saying to be the human ego. We're saying be our soul vibration. This is this authenticity, this that we're an infinite being, that we're a vibration of the universe, this is the authentic self, not our authentic ego self that we, and may start there, but really honoring and finding out and trusting yourself. Sometimes it's scary. You're like, I want to do what everybody else does, and I've always done what everybody else does, and I have brothers and sisters that mirror back to me who I should be, and if I'm ever not that what they see, then they're going to shun me. Well, guess what? They're not going to. I was a little apprehensive about coming out to my family and thinking, well, they would be, opinionated, I guess, about me being the psychic medium instead of just the regular old sister, But they don't treat me any different. They're like, oh yeah, no big deal. Like it doesn't faze them. It doesn't change them. I can be who I authentically am because on some level they've always known this about me. They've always felt this about me, that I'm going to do what I do the way I want to do it and live as authentically as possible. They may not be able to do that, and that's fine. But it doesn't stop me from doing that. Just because it's not modeled to you or in your surroundings doesn't mean that we can't be this. But that authentic self is our soul's vibration, our soul's essence, our universal vibration and beingness is what I love to feel with this authentic self. And it is multi-leveled, dimensional and faceted. So thank you, Jill.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Garnet had a cute little emoji there. Yes, Jean, with the jeans, with the pants.
I know, right?
That's so
Makes
cute.
me laugh every
Yeah.
time. I don't.
Yeah. It's interesting. Somebody else here said something about being in the deep freeze. I think it was one of the Barbaras. But it's real easy to be in that deep freeze and not realize that we cut off that part of little Teri or little Barbara or little somebody and kind of left it behind. And sometimes people say that that's a tear in your aura or one of your chakras, maybe a slash. But calling that energy back of the divine feminine and divine masculine and balancing and being in that balance. When we're born, we go through this programming, right? Like when you're a little kid, you see things and you see the joy in things, and then sometimes your displeasure in things is quite apparent too as a child. but then as we go through the programming of and the constructs of this planet and what we're supposed to be and what what looks right and what doesn't look right, and we strive when we get really good at it, and it's like just getting to where you want to be and letting go again. I remember I started going to Mexico. I don't know. I'd go every year with my girlfriends for a long time, and when my kids were little, and it was a great vacay. But also going to another country, people are kind of free to be themselves and dance and walk on the beach and get silly in the water. And it was kind of an awakening that how long have I not used that little girl there? And the more we travel, and that doesn't, I mean, it can be traveling in spirit and meditation. It can be traveling around the planet. It can be traveling in your bathtub, having a great time there. But the more that we bring that little person out to play, it's huge. Barbara, you did a soul retrieval to get your little girl out of her tree. That's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There is that fear of being rejected about being, but it's interesting. So I was with a group of people this summer, I think. Yeah, this summer in Colorado. And we were all, you know, um, psychics and mediums and whatnot. And we were just having a little fun together. And we were on this trolley and we were going up a mountain. And somebody said, "So what do you guys do for a living? And where did you meet?" And somebody, I think it was Kevin Lewis or somebody, said, "In jail." And
What did we do? In jail?
And we met in jail. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then I said, "We're in the wellness community.
Oh.
We all work in the wellness community," which we do. So
And did the trolley start levitating?
we just all burst out laughing. But it was great. But yeah, so just recognizing that you are a divine being, and you can have fun with that. We don't have to be super spiritual snobs and I've done this and
Yeah.
I've done
Oh my
that. I
gosh.
think people are getting away from that. Like it seemed like for a while there, everybody's like, "Oh, well, I've read this book and I've done this thing." And
So Teresa says, imagine if the notes in Mozart's all wanted to fit in, it would be ruined, right? So it's important to be unique and not to be like everybody else, and to step out and to be our authentic self. And Patricia says she worries of being rejected. People think it's too woo-woo. And this is, I appreciate you, Patricia, saying that. And I hope you don't mind that I'm pointing this out. But it's really important for us to go through there, go through it, go do it. So what if somebody found out that you are interested in this and they think it's too woo-woo? What would happen then? So they would judge you. And then what happens? And then what happens when they judge you? Then they'll tell other people. And then what happens when they tell other people? Then they'll all judge you. And then what happens? Like nothing, it'll never change you. You are, we all are sentient beings. We all have autonomy here in this world to be and express who we are at all times, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, or, that it's within a benevolent way. And it's really important that we are all our authentic self, because not only are you that person who judges you, that person who judges you may think, oh, I had those thoughts. Why can she do it and I can't do it? Maybe I should start doing it. You don't know. You can't predetermine what other people's opinions of you, how it will turn out, or what repercussions your authenticity will affect other people. So if you worry about being rejected, it's you'll never know. But if you allow yourself to be who you are, no matter if they judge you and tell other people, or if they judge you and say, "Oh, I've had those feelings. Maybe there's something to this." We never know. So it's really important for us to uh, be an example of a true sentient being here on this earth, and our human vibration, our human unconditional love, and just expressing ourselves authentically. Um, so thank you, Patricia, for pointing that out. And how about you, Teri? Do you have any other suggestions about if people would judge us?
Well, somebody here was talking about dancing, and I've got to say, sometimes I'll go by myself if there's a band that I like, and I'll just go there to dance or to a concert, because I don't want to have to think about what anybody else thinks about me. And not that people that I love and care about would go with me, but maybe my daughter would look at me like, "Mom, could you please?" But living your authentic self, a lot of times through music, through the arts, is huge. Whatever you're called to. Some people, their big gig is like science. Math is huge. Math and science are so tied to universal energy. It's just amazing. So there's so many scientists that are into it now, and the data, the statisticians like Sally. So it's interesting how people come to it, and everybody has a different key, right? But that keyhole is always, the key for me is always joy. So yeah, to get there. Yeah.
Hi,
Oh,
Amanda. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Barbara brings up an interesting thing. Mental illness has a stigma, um, a while ago. Yeah,
And
I would talk
D-
to your
Daniel is a statistician. Oh my gosh,
oh,
isn't that ironic?
yeah,
But
yeah.
so go ahead. Uh-huh.
It's huge. I was talking about this morning with the meditation tribe about Rudy Tanzi. Rudy Tanzi is a world famous scientist. I don't know if he's won a Nobel Prize, but he's been up for several. He's also plays keyboards for a band. I can't remember if it's Led Zeppelin or it's one of the top bands. Anyway, but and he co-writes books with Deepak. So it's interesting how people do that and how they come to it. Can't remember what Barbara said, but yeah, some people get scared to say what they do, but now it's like everybody kind of is falling in love with wellness. It's like you were there first. Yeah, Leroy, you get a little creative with it. Yeah, yeah, it's huge. It's very tied, statisticians and science and math to um, universal energy. Numbers and frequency are always there. So yeah,
It's it's and I think just bringing it back to being present and honoring ourselves, honoring our true feelings, and try not to allow these thoughts or these judgments on ourselves to create worry or create scenarios that will cause our vibration to lower. Because while you're worrying about what other people are thinking and saying, you're not being your authentic self. And it doesn't make any difference to them. It only hurts you. And you can worry all you want, but it's never going to change them judging you. So why waste time worrying, and you can just be yourself? Because haters are going to hate, right? Isn't that what Taylor says?
yeah, right. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's and turning it into curiosity. I've got a little stall at an antique mall, and anyway, there was this woman there, and we were talking about what we did and stuff like that. And I said, I do meditations and readings on YouTube. And she said, "Oh, well, you heard about Doreen Virtue, didn't you?" And how she came back. And I'm just pulling these up because I bought them the other day at Half Price Books. I found it, some of her cards, and I love her cards, but this is the series that she made after she went very right wing Christian, and it's loving words from Yeshua, from Jesus. And I thought, I'm going to go there, but this woman was talking about her and how, oh, she would never do those things, and I'm like, well, they're not any different. But I did sit there and listen to her and asked her questions, because I know that sometimes it's really interesting to hear it from somebody's point of view. And sometimes if you let people talk enough, they kind of find out their own way. And not that you want to change anybody's information that they believe, but these were kind of nice. And I thought, okay, they have different verses from the Bible in them. I haven't started using them, and I haven't figured out where they're going to fit in, but I know that they do. So looking at other people's information and having social discourse and being curious about what they're thinking is interesting, and it changes people. So maybe not.
Yeah, I think being accepting and inclusive, and trying to understand and having compassion for different people and different people's views and different people's ways or methods is a way to begin being accepted and being, appreciated or respected for our own views. And the minute we start, judging others or judging what people's beliefs or, activities may be, that's when we start limiting ourselves. So it's really important to be as open-minded and inclusive to all different types of people in all different traditions, I guess. But it's also without any harm, not to do any harm to you or to anybody else. And as long as it's healthy and positive, I guess I can't think of the word, respectful, I think, and in a compassionate way. And if this person is, or if a group of people are not doing something that is life affirming or love affirming or in the higher vibration, it's not necessarily a judgment, it's a discernment, that you understand that this is not something that is life affirming or that will bring us towards evolution, but we're not judging them or condemning them or exercising critical thoughts about them. It's observation and it's a discernment. I see this vibration is not of the highest vibration, and it's not life affirming. It is not elevating us and contributing to the whole of humanity or Earth. And this is a discernment. It is different. It is different than a judgment. So it's important to be aware of what things are and how things are vibrating. But it also is important not to judge or to be critical or to be, but again, it's discernment and then critical, or discernment and then judgment. It's always important to have that discernment, and it's always going to be there. And if you don't mind, let's go ahead and talk about the dark side and the heavier, dense vibrations, and the people who are not awakened or have no awareness of who they truly are. They also have autonomy and the right to be here and live their own human existence and experience that human incarnation as a soul. They are a soul having a human experience. So it's not up to us to stop them in their soul's lesson or to judge them on their soul's lesson. We can, wish them well and send them on their way and pray that they have enlightenment and awakening. But it's not for us to judge or to change. It is, it's really hard to hold that higher perspective of a soul having a positive high vibrational experience and a soul having a low vibrational and limited experience. It is necessary in this planet to have both as an equal and opposite sort of energy or density. So as the light lightens up, so does the dark become revealed. As the dark becomes revealed, so does the light lighten up. And this is the dynamic of living here, an experience on Earth as an enlightened, or just as a human being.
Yeah, there was somebody made an instance of this that I thought made sense to me after you're thinking about, when you measure things. And they said, we may have come here from 6th or 7th density to help with 3D coming up to 5D, or we might be have a lifetime, and we probably have all these that we're working with right now, but we might have had 3D coming up to 5D, and so going through that experience is huge. And also, there's people here that have come from 2D, and they're coming up to 3D. So good on them that where they're at and the experience that they're having in this lifetime. And there is no judgment on the other side. So everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be. And yes, we have free will on this planet, so people can do interesting things. But then when you look at some of those people, they're agents of change. So maybe they take it too far. Maybe they overextend their soul contract, which I think probably most of us have had instances of meeting with people that went over their soul contract. Maybe they did too much, and you're like, okay, well, boundaries there now. But looking at other people as agents of change and growth opportunities for us. Because when we come up against that darkness and that chaos, it causes us to come back and look and reset. And that's where we have that huge growth. And that's where the planet is right now, I feel like. And we're going to go through a big, huge growth spurt here as a collective.
It is also a mirror as well. So
Yeah.
Leroy says the possibilities and potential seems endless and open, yin and yang. Right.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
balance. And Teri and I did a little series on balance as well. And Teresa says, when you fight with the people, it makes them hold that belief in stronger. Let them grow at their own pace. Let them live their own life's journey, their own soul's journey, and to experience their life lessons so that their soul can grow. Their soul and your soul are not equal. They're not intended to be equal. We're here to have different experiences all at the same time so that they are a catalyst to us and we are a catalyst to them. And we are all one hive consciousness. The human consciousness, the human soul, the soul that experiences humanity is all one. It just depends on what we agreed upon before we came into this incarnation as to what type of experience we play out. And it's a high level perspective. It's not easy to accept that just on face value. And before I go on, I just wanted to say hi to Donna Norris. Thank you for stopping by.
How are you?
Donna Norris, Soul Level Intuitive. Thanks for being here. VIP is in the house. Yeah. And Cat Lady says, yes, I don't think you can grow if you're judging. Just when you stop judging and accept them, you grow. Light and love always helps. And that is really well worded. And it's we're not saying it's easy, but when you catch yourself, you say, is that discernment? Am I condemning them for what they're doing? Am I judging them for what they're doing? Or am I observing them and making my own choice to do something different? And trying not to control them. When we judge, we're trying to control another. We're trying to impose our beliefs, our own standards on somebody else. And, I understand we are a land of laws and we have, justice systems and judges and things like that. That's different. That's a way of, existing in a community and having balance in a community. We're talking about, judging your neighbor and, it's not easy, and it's part of the learning, the growth.
Sure. Equanimity. It's like giving people a chance to talk. We're not taught on this earth how to listen by society, and to let people talk and to give them encouragement to talk, but not to give advice. Like, and as empaths, a lot of times when people talk or speak to us, we want to give them ways to help themselves. But if you let people talk things out, they figure it out. When they hear themselves saying something, the more they hear themselves saying it, oftentimes, not always, they'll figure out their own plan and how they're going to get to there from here. So yeah, zip it. Zip it good, right? Awesomeness.
Oh,
So that's beautiful. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just as we have only a few minutes left, but I just wanted to pop up one other graphic, and it's something that a lot of people are having, um, uh, uh, like it's just really telling for a lot of people. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Um, I don't know how to do that, but
Oh, that's big. That looks
I
good.
think that's better. Okay.
Oh, I think so.
So see if I can move this up a little. And this is our comfort zone here where we feel safe and in control. And this is where we spend a lot of our time. And this is what our goal is to stay in this comfort zone. Like a lot of decisions that we make are so that we stay in this comfort zone. And look what we have right outside of our comfort zone right here. This is our fear zone. So when we say be in the present and be fearless, and don't let fear control you, it's because it is only right outside of your comfort zone. And this says lack of self-confidence or finds excuses or affected by others' opinions. This is where fear is. It is just outside of our comfort zone, but it is not the end. It is not the only thing. Right after this fear comes a learning. And if we push through the fear and we let that fear process and work through the what ifs until the end, and then realize what if, so what? And then we deal with the challenges and problems in our learning zone, or we acquire new skills, which I know I have for sure. I have changed so much by learning, by pushing through my own fears, and extend your comfort zone. And then after we have our learning zone, we move into the growth zone. And this is the aspiration, or my aspiration, or the moving into the 5D. We live our dreams. I mean, can you
Mhm.
imagine just living our dreams? We find purpose. We
Yeah.
set new goals. We conquer objectives. This is our growth zone. This is all part of the human experience, the human opportunities, what is available to each and every one of us. And I do encourage you to take a screenshot of this and really contemplate, really look at this on many different levels. It is really very profound and one of the best diagrams. I've seen so many of these, but it really is very telling that the fear is always going to be right outside of our comfort zone. But it's important for us to assess the fear, work through the fear, and then move into the learning zone. Don't stay huddled into this comfort zone and not live. Living is out here. Living is past the fear. We need to go past it. And this is a really difficult time now more than ever when we are being faced with so many things that are triggering fear within us. But you know what? This is a really good time to practice working through that fear. Okay, things are really difficult for a lot of people on this planet, and we have great empathy and compassion for them. But it is not my fear to carry. It is not.
Yeah.
We have compassion. We don't want that to happen to anybody that we love or anybody that we know, another human being or even another sentient being. We would never want anything terrible. But just because we don't live in fear doesn't mean we want that to happen. It's important for us to live our lives and to have this joy and to push through the fear, do the learning, do the expanding, and this will benefit more people down in our future and throughout the world. And I think it ripples, in the universe as well. But that's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah. Not being tied to the outcome. That's huge.
Yes.
Yeah. When we're tied to the outcome and how things are going to turn out. But if we have curiosity about the outcome and equanimity to everybody, I mean, when we think about the earth, when when she was born, and it was like, there was a rock. So be that rock, be that that fern, and then keep expanding. And they like that, and then keep expanding that. Enjoy the journey. Thank you, blessed honey. Yeah, Sonia.
Oh,
Enjoy the journey.
look at that.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we're here to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I read that book too, Barbara. Feel the fear and do it anyway by Susan Jeffers. Yep. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant. Enjoy the journey, everybody. Oh my gosh. So I hope this just helps us to put things in perspective and maybe just have a little thought outside of what we've been thinking lately and maybe just explore the possibilities.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that we can't have boundaries, you guys. It doesn't mean that you have to have a conversation with everybody on the planet. And go ahead and keep your boundaries where you want them, and listen to your heart where they need to be. Because there are times when somebody might be wanting to tell you all their fears, and that's sometimes I can't handle that right then and there. I need to say, and it's funny, James Gordon, in one of his books, you can say, "Oh, I just got a phone call," and so you can turn that discussion into something else, and keep your boundaries, but also protect your heart. Yeah, and open it at the same time. That's a yin yang balance, isn't it?
So Amanda says, I love this discussion. And Donna says, y'all are amazing, such great content. Not everyone evolves forward or upward in every lifetime.
Right.
Our free will choices can really mess people up. I love how you pointed that out. Oh, you're welcome, Donna. Thank you for saying that. It was so sweet. Very nice of you. Wonderful validation. Well, thank you, Teri. I want to respect your time. I will be on 3 more times today. I have Allie, Heart and Soul Connected, coming on. And let me see what else I have. Allie's coming on at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm going to be with the Psychic Triad on Kikaru's Spiritual Journeys channel at 4:30 Eastern. And then Ginger, the Ginger Faye Tarot, is going to be back here at 6:30 this evening. So I have more than a triple header. I have
Girl. You're busy.
But
Yeah.
it's all fun. It's all fun and entertainment from here on out.
Yeah, right. I love the Terrys. I love Allie, and Ginger Faye. It's a blast. I'm going to be on with Callie Hiller in a little bit. So,
wonderful.
Central. So, yeah, we're going to do some energy readings if anybody wants one, and come on by. There's so much going on this planet right now. It's so much fun. Usually.
Well, thank you everybody for being here, for asking your questions, for being involved in the conversation, and everybody who we're lurking or is watching later. We really appreciate all of your support, and thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Teri, for being here as well. I really appreciate you being here. Take care.
Oh, thanks, Jean. I love it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you enjoy this content, hit like, share, and subscribe. Remember to click the bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks again. Bye.